Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Julie Lee, and you can find out more about what I do in the description box below. There will just be some links there that you can click on. So we're here to do the energy reading for the week ahead, and yes, we've got a lot happening at the moment. You know, firstly, Mercury being retrograde. You can look at some of the old videos on my channel to find out more. And also we've had the full moon eclipse last week, and so there's a lot around communication and also resolving old issues. So if you find that you know, there's themes that are coming up in your life, you're having issues that are either similar or things that keep coming up, then that's a good sign that there's something there that needs to be looked at. And just to remember that it's something that I got reminded of myself, is that, you know, it's sometimes we sort of, you know, put the responsibility on others to change and say, well, it's your fault that I'm feeling this way, but it's to remember that actually it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And it's really important to take responsibility for what you're feeling, to take ownership of that and to work on letting those things go. So it's about, you know, the old beliefs, old thoughts that we have about ourselves, the roles that we play. You know, this is a really important time to really let those go, because they don't serve us anymore, and you know, it's just what we've been conditioned to believe, really. So, you know, just allow those things to come up, and rather than resist them and try and push them away, just sort of breathe into them and let the situation be there without having to control it in a certain way, and just see how it evolves. And then we're entering into, well, the new moon eclipse will be this week, so I think it's the 10th of June. So, you know, that's when, after clearing everything, we have the opportunity to really instill a new way of being. You know, where we want to go. You know, being heart-centered, allowing love to be our guiding factor rather than fear and old conditioning. So I just want to mention that before going into the reading, because I think it's really important just to have an overview of what's happening energetically. And I'm sure there's other things going on as well, but just keep those things in mind. So I'm going to, as normal, shuffle the tarot cards and see what the message is for us this week. So what's the message for us this week? Universe, what's the message? Okay. Okay. Well, that was a bit more than I expected. So I'm going to take these back, and then for some, you know, normally I wouldn't take those back, but I feel like that's there for a reason. So yeah, I know for some of you it might feel a bit strange, why is she picking some up but not others? But yeah, it's all I can say is just what I'm guided to do. Right, so let me put these in order. These are together. Okay, so at the bottom of the deck we've got the Five of Wands. And for me this is just, you know, if you look at the image, about fighting and conflict. So I'm laughing because I think it's quite interesting, because I was just talking about that before. You know, like if you're experiencing conflict and you know, with others, or feeling that tension, you know, things feel uncomfortable, then, you know, it's about just being with that feeling and seeing what it's reflecting in yourself. You know, I wrote a blog post on it or last week, sorry, so about healing the inner child. So a lot of the things that come up for us are about inner child stuff, really. The things that happened to us when we were in our childhood, and it's just, our caregivers showing us how they resolved issues, but not in general. Our parents only did what they knew best, and obviously probably didn't have the same amount of education that is available these days, or in my case that's certainly the situation. So we adopt a lot of patterns that aren't really relevant for us anymore. So this can come out in conflict, and as I said before, rather than blaming the other person, just see what it's bringing up for you, and beyond the anger and those initial first emotions, what is the hurt, what is the pain that you're feeling underneath that. So interestingly enough, we've got the King of Cups here, and this is someone who is very in his emotions and has learned to master his emotions. So in that sense, meaning it's not that we necessarily control how we feel, or that's not the goal. It's really to allow ourselves to feel what is coming up for us, and to know that our emotions aren't against us. They're just trying to show us something, and using those emotions as a messenger, or helping us to see what is really happening rather than trying to push them away. And so if you can embody that energy of just feeling your emotions, allowing them to be there without judgment, without trying to resolve them even, because sometimes we spend a lot of time getting analytical about our situation and getting into our heads, when really that's not the place for resolution. Our minds are great tools for getting us from A to B and doing spreadsheets, etc. But in terms of healing, we need to allow our heart and various tools connected to that to heal. So that's what the King of Cups is telling us. And then we've got the High Priestess, which I love it when she comes out, because it's about really being in your intuition, and really trusting what messages are coming up for you. Not this, we're so used to relying on the outside world to tell us what's right, what's wrong. We go to the doctor to tell us what's wrong with us, when I think most of us intuitively, if we were to feel into it, we'd know, or if we learnt that was the way to do it, we'd be able to intuitively do that. And so it's about getting back to aligning with yourself and your true power, because when you do that, then there is nothing to fear. I always say that our intuition is our superpower. It's what allows us to stay in the present moment, because we know that our intuition will always guide us forward in the right direction. So, really, if you find that you're at the beginning of the journey of trusting your intuition, just take it slowly, and allow yourself to how do I feel, what would feel good for me right now, just be curious about it, and just what's the intuitive urge right now, and just allow that to be there, because over time, the more that you learn to trust it, the more stronger it will be. Just like anything, it's a muscle that just maybe hasn't been used in a while. So once we get practicing, it just becomes stronger and stronger. So that's great. And then we have these two came out together, and for me, the Lovers, it represents union in ourselves for me, meaning, coming together in ourselves, coming, because we both have feminine and masculine, whether we are male or female, gender-wise, or, whatever genders exist these days. So it's about coming together, for me anyway, the way I read this, in ourselves. And so we all have that ability, capacity to feel, to be our own lovers, to look after ourselves and to really care for our needs and wants, etc. And it's really stepping into that, because when we step into that, then we don't really need anything from anybody else. And that's not in a horrible way, it's just more we become whole in ourselves. And when we are whole, it just means that we can interact with other people in that wholesome way, and rather than needing something from them or expecting something from them, it just comes from a place of love. So it's almost like, by being in our emotions, allowing ourselves to see the message and intuitively going with the flow of the week ahead, we allow ourselves to step into that space of really being in alignment with our true selves, which is beautiful. It's, and really being our best friend, being our best lover, being our best everything, which only just makes us even better to be around with other people. And the Three of Cups comes out because it's about celebrating this as a, wherever you are in the journey, really celebrate where you are, because we're all changing so much, there's so much happening, and we often forget to really appreciate the work that we're doing and what, how far we've come. So take the time to do that, to, could be just meditating on it, giving yourself a hug, doing something nice for yourself. Just really take the time to appreciate who you are and all that you do. So that's the reading for the week ahead. So just remember, if you're having conflicts, it's all fine. Things are coming up for a reason, and because they need to be resolved. To stay in your own space and reflect on what's happening for you. Trust your intuition to guide you, and know that you're safe. And things are evolving to this, what am I trying to say, to the state where you are, wholesome. That's where we're all going. So, celebrate where you are on that journey. So I hope that makes sense and resonates. If you have any questions or comments, please get in touch with me or make a comment below. And it'd be lovely to hear from you. And if you like the channel, please subscribe so that you get notifications as they come up. Alright, look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great week. Bye.